Hi everyone, welcome in. Thanks for joining us for our August webinar for our newly released product features. We're really excited. We have a lot of fun features to show you. So before we dive in, we'll give everyone a few moments here to get settled and join us. And we have a couple of updates that you'll see on the screen. You can scan the QR code that you see there if you have your phone handy, or you can simply type in that URL link into your browser, and it'll get you to the same location. But these will send you to either register for our milestone webinar, which is coming up this upcoming Tuesday on August 25th. It'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time or 1 p.m. Central Time. We're really excited. What an amazing accomplishment. Thanks to all of you curators for helping us get here. But that webinar will be led by our CEO and founder, Ryan O'Neill, and he has a lot of exciting updates to share with you around the company, what we've learned over the years to get us to the millionth proposal milestone, and what the future of Curate's looking like. So you don't want to miss it. Make sure to sign up for that if you're not already registered. And then we also have the bonus program. I know Shannon and I have mentioned this in previous webinars. You can actually access this directly within your Curate account within the navigation menu, or you can follow again the QR code or the link and it'll get you registered and signed up. But we have a bonus program to reward you for providing us with some feedback. So don't make sure that you register for that so that we can hear from you and you can get rewarded for it as well. But we'll give everyone a couple more minutes. Just wanted to kind of cover what you're seeing on the screen before we get started. Alrighty, I think we've got a lot of folks here, so we'll go ahead and start diving in because Shannon and I do have quite the list to go through. So I don't want to waste too much time with getting started. As always, if you see something that you like that we're showing off, please don't hesitate to give us a shout in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or thoughts that you'd like to share, please reach out as we go through. So I'm actually going to get us kicked off. I'm going to start with showing through a few features and then I'll pass off to Shannon. And then as usual, we'll kind of rotate and then we'll wrap up. So to get us started, I want to show off our e-commerce updates. I know we've touched on this in the past, but we've made a ton of progress with our e-commerce feature. This is an add-on that you would add to your Curate account. So if you don't have the e-commerce add-on, but if you are interested in getting this set up, please let us know. Our team can definitely get in touch with you about that and explain what that pricing looks like and also the additional functionality of how that might incorporate into how your business works. So we have the e-commerce feature here. Again, it is an add-on, so if you don't have this on your account, you won't quite see this functionality in your navigation. But here we have e-commerce. You're seeing kind of the back end of what this functionality looks like of getting it set up. So I'm going to start us here on some enhancements and updates we have with the storefront setup and branding, and then I'm going to kind of shift us over into the customer side of what that looks like with some enhancements and updates towards the checkout functionality. So starting here internally, we've made some updates. The first one is going to be the option to add a description to your e-commerce storefront sections. So you can create your storefront with several sections depending on how you like to organize your products. So we have a few sections here. We have box lunches, we have party platters and hot catering trays. We have dessert and sweet treats, and then we have some floral centerpieces at the bottom. And what this looks like is if you're adding a new section or you're looking to edit an existing section, you can click the pencil tool. This is going to open the slide out for you, and then you can input that description here. Again, it is optional, but it does help create some additional clarity of like maybe what this section is or the category, just to provide a more informative, organized shopping experience to your users. So that is something that's now available if you'd like to add in some section descriptions. Um, We've also updated with your catalog. These are your products coming directly from your catalog, so we make it really easy to build this storefront shopping experience, all within Curate with the same product data. And so, an update that we've made here is you can see some prior products that I've added in. The descriptions can be, condensed into just kind of a text space. But we've updated this now to reflect actually how you're formatting this within the product catalog. So we received some feedback that some users like to kind of build in, these bullet points using keyboard shortcuts, or maybe you like to space out the text. And so we wanted to reflect that as well on your shopping experience. So that is an update that the display of the storefront product descriptions is going to match what you have in the catalog. Just making it easier to read or help customers quickly understand based off of the way that you like to format it. So that's another update that we've done. We've also updated the storefront logo. We had some feedback around that, so we now support a wider range of logo sizes, shapes, making it easier to showcase your brand. You can upload that logo through your store settings here. This slide out will appear, and then you can upload a file of your choice, and then we have some recommended sizing there around that file. So we now support a wider range of logo sizes to help your branding showcase on the storefront. We also have some updates to the storefront price display. We've removed some additional text around the pricing to just make it cleaner, simplify. But we've also added an optional tool toggle for a starting at price. This is available per product. It is available on your storefront if you are using your e-commerce add-on as a request tool. So we have two options. I'm going to get to a little bit of this. I guess I'm sneaking ahead on the checkout side, but we have introduced payment. So your Curate client can now do a self-checkout on their side of shopping. But in order to have the starting at price on a product, you can see here, because I have payments enabled, I'm not able to toggle this on. But if I turn my digital payments off and I just want to use my shopping cart experience as a request tool, then I could show starting at before the price. And you might be wondering what this is all about. And this is to give your customers a clear understanding of kind of expected pricing up front. So we heard this specifically from a lot of our floral users. They might be using this tool to communicate with potential wedding leads. And so, or their floral arrangements, they might have a starting at price, but maybe based off those different floral components that you would put into your recipe, that would, of course, either change the pricing to be higher or lower. Mostly higher because you want to do the starting at price, but it's just a way to communicate that this isn't potentially the final pricing. So again, this would be used as a request tool. If you have digital payments on, you would be, set at this price so that when your customer checks out, it's all accurate pricing of what they're paid for. So that is a feature that we now have live. If you'd like to utilize that, you can go into your store and then you would find your store settings. Digital payments toggle is here. And then depending if you have that turned on or off, you have the option to enable the starting at pricing as well. And then just one other update kind of to go along with the back end here. you will have your shop URL here. You can copy that link, which is what I have up top. And then an update we have is you'll notice in the browser tab, it now is going to say your shop name, which is on my store, the Foundry Collective. And then it's also going to pull in your logo that you have on your shop store. So prior, this tab actually said Curate with a Curate logo, and we wanted to carry your brand, beyond the page itself. So we now have that reflected in the browser tab, um, based off of how you have your store set up with your logo and your name. So this kind of leads us over into some checkout and order updates around e-commerce as well. So a few things to go through here before I pass it on to Shannon. But the first update is we've updated the shopping cart button. So you'll notice if there are no items in my shopping cart as the shopper, that my button is just kind of this white shopping cart. But as soon as I start to add to my shopping cart, it's going to turn blue, and then that number will actually update based off of how many items I'm adding to my cart. So this is just a quick, simple update that we've made to just provide a clear visual, if your cart has items in it or not, just to help customers kind of confidently go through their ordering process here. So that's an update we've made to the shopping experience. Once they've added items to their cart and then they go through to that checkout experience, we have a few other updates here around what's required on the checkout form. So you'll see we have a first and last name that's required, an email that's required, and then we've also additionally now have a required phone number. And so these are all important components that would need to be entered so that as the Curate user, you have all the contact details you need to follow up with this shopper so that you can confirm and you have additional contact methods outside of just an email. We now have a required phone number to just provide a smoother checkout experience. So these pieces here will show as required, and they're again, it's all up front on what they need to input before they go through the checkout experience. We also have added an order start time field. So this again ties along with being able to select a date, and then we have now selected time. So this ties into some fulfillment pieces that are important with placing an order through our e-commerce feature. And so the shopper can go through, pick the date that they're wanting either this, to be delivered or picked up. They can select here, and then you'll have the select time, and then they would have the special request option here to kind of add those additional notes around if they are planning to pick it up or if they're planning and wanting this to be delivered. They can provide those details. So that is available on the checkout form. And then we also have an update here around email notification. So when this is sent in, you'll never miss the e-commerce online order. That will go directly to a default team member to receive the email, and then they'll be assigned as the project owner once this order is processed. Then that project is created, and then they'll be able to kind of stay organized and respond quickly and manage that order. So we have email notifications that's been updated there with order requests and projects. Another item that has been updated for easily and quickly noticing these projects that are coming through your e-commerce funnel is we have added a new icon next to the project name in your project's list view. So now you'll notice if a project is automatically created from your e-commerce storefront, there'll be this little storefront icon next to the project name. So they'll be easily identifiable as you're going through and managing your projects. So I know that was quite a bit. Hopefully, I tried to move quickly because, like I said, we have quite a bit to show. So hopefully you followed along there. But if you have any follow-up questions around the e-commerce functionality, like I mentioned, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team. We'd love to share more about it with you and get you set up. So I will pass it on to Shannon, and she's going to take us through a few more features.
Okay. We do have a lot of features today, so we are actually going to just see what features we are able to get through. For this section, let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to be more centrally located in the quote. It's around the proposal that we're going to kind of chat about right now. So let me go back to the top of my list here. So, one recent update that we made is you now have the ability to see a booked on date. So, if I look at like this Knox Creek farm right here, if I click on my expand icon, whenever it moves to booked, completed, or lost, you're going to have like a booked on date right here. It's going to have a date that fills in there so that you can identify what date that it moved to booked. And you can also see this in your reports, in your projects report, so that you can gauge like, here's the created on date, here's when actually you started this journey, and this is the date that we actually booked it. So you can actually see what is that time frame, what's our average time frame for from creation to booking. And we can kind of try to narrow that. The goal is to kind of narrow that time span so that whenever you have a much shorter created to booked time period. You can change it. Sometimes you have stuff booked before it even comes into Curate. So you can change that date manually if you need to on here, but that is where that's going to live. It's going to be in this overview right down here in that booked on date field right there. So that's a new capability. You can use that in the projects report. It's pretty handy. The other one that we are going to look at is going to be here on our wedding menu. So I'm going to actually back out so that you can see where I am. So I went down to templates and I went to order templates right here. Something that we just implemented, which I'm very excited about. I'm seeing so many people using order templates these days. So many people are utilizing them as items that naturally travel together. So things like stations, they may be, or what we typically offer for a wedding, or all kinds of stuff like that. Makes it very easy if you put it together as an order template, which is just basically a saved section with line items or even multiple sections that could be together. I'm on the wedding menu right now. If I go down here, you can see that I've got my line items, my preloaded products in here, but you now have the ability to assign a status to items. So if you want to make sure that you are consistently providing upsell opportunities in your quotes, maybe you have multiple different salespeople or you just have a lot going on. You can't remember this every single time. You want to make it easy for you to do your job with excellence. You have the ability to put statuses on the items now in order templates. So I can preload things as a possibility, preload them right here as a draft item, an internal item. So like things like equipment, you can preload those as internal items right here in the line items. The other thing that you can now do is you have the ability to pull in rentals or even staffing line items. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but I preloaded a line item here called staffing. That is an actual staffing line item where I've got 3 roles built out in there that I know is going to go into this event. So I can preload those. You can see it's got the little staffing icon right there. Um, I can preload those into this particular menu because I know what this menu is going to require when it comes to staffing. So anytime I pull in this specific package of items or this specific station or something like that, I know I'm going to need an additional 2 servers and a chef on site or whatever. That allows you to just preload those items. So you can do it for rental items and you can do it for staffing items now in the order templates, which is like it just like doubled all the stuff that you can do here. Like it's so good now. It was good in the past, but now it's really good to use these order templates for managing your events. All right, I'm gonna hop over here to this Union Station event right here. One update, which I have seen so many people utilizing it. I feel like we haven't even announced it, but so many people have figured it out. You now have the ability to set a color on the back end of your sections that are here. So if you click on the pencil icon for any of your sections, you can assign a background color to go on the back end of that like section on that layout right there. So it makes it really easy to further customize your proposals. It's just really beautiful, makes it really easy to kind of do that. You do still have the color dropper, so that makes them easy. I was able to pull the background color of our logo that we have located in here and assign that as my background color for all of my items. The other thing that you can do here, and I'm going to click the pencil icon on this color, on this one right here. You also have the ability to put a frame around the boxes here. So I'm going to click right here where it says frame palette. You can, it's very faint here, but you can see I've put a little frame around those boxes that are there. Let me go down. I'm going to use this Your Wedding Vision, and I'm going to do a color palette right here. Let's build it out a little bit more. I'm going to grab this like teal color. I'm going to grab, I like this like burgundy, orange, purple thing. I'm going to grab like a yellow. I love this little the dropper or whatever. So right now, whenever you pull them in, it's just going to be the swatches that are there, but then you can frame it to kind of draw more attention to those colors. Sometimes it is tough. This is in particular whenever you have a white background. Whenever you have a white background, um, it can be a little tough to see the colors that are there. So we just add a little frame on there due to some requests. I'm actually going to toggle that off, and I'm going to change this back to my other color that I have there. Perfect. So we just added that little frame that's there. The other thing that is new, which I am stoked about, it has made life so easy for me, is now these single image containers. So if you didn't know, if you click down here where it says add content, and I go down to the very bottom, you have this ability to add a container for a single image. Sometimes people put things together on Canva, or they have certain designs that they want to display or something like that. So they'll add that single image container on there. Now, if you click on the back end of that single image container, you do have the ability to kind of crop some of those extra margins that may have been in there. We've had some feedback about that. We want it to be better fit to the size of the image that we put in there. So now you have that ability. You do also have the ability to change the image sizing in there to better fit the aesthetic of whatever it is that you're trying to display to the customer. So maybe on this one, I'll go to 75%. It feels big enough. You can also add like some image padding. I will say that the image padding is a little bit better if you either have a white image or a white background, because the image padding does not adopt the color of the background. So like in this case, we have a white image, but it just allows you to put a little bit more spacing on that item if needed. A lot of times logos in particular are cropped very narrow to the text, where you really need them to have some margin on them. And so that just adds some margin on them. Then you can, last, you can choose, how do I want that to display on there? Usually I see it centered. I don't know if I've ever seen it right or left, but you have the ability to kind of manage that if you would like to on that single image container. So actually right now I'm seeing a lot of people, if you have like a horizontal logo, that's really what I'm seeing how people are doing it. They're just toggling off this header box right there, loading their logo in here, choosing the sizing, those kind of things in there. Makes it really easy to kind of add your logo, get it really prominently in your proposal. Okay. The other item, now you have the ability, this actually was just released today, is previously you have the ability to manage, if you have a line item already entered, you can kind of manage that line item here. Now you also have the ability to manage admin fees here. So you can just click that pencil icon if you want to make some changes right here from the portal, rather than having to navigate back to the order. I can just jump right in here and say, okay, yeah, I actually need this to be 6,000. Whatever it is that you may want to change, you have that ability to do that right here from the portal. The other item, so we kind of already talked about this, but it's the ability now that you can have staffing as a catalog item. So what I did for this item, I actually have it marked as internal intentionally, but you can actually save these items to our catalog. This item I did already save. So if I'm going in here, you can do individual roles. In my case, I did one line item that's got multiple roles in it, and I'll show you that. But you can see this is what it looks like in the catalog. It's going to have that little icon next to it, just kind of like how our rentals have that little rental sign in there, all of those things. Makes it easy to kind of pull those in there. On this one, just for your knowledge, I do have it built out with bartender, service staff, and a floral designer on here. All of those items, all of those roles will come in whenever I pull it in because that's how I saved it to my catalog. You can do it role based as well. If you're familiar with staffing, you can do it role based as well. If I want to save it as a bartender, I can. Okay, now the next one. So the reason why I have that marked as internal is because I want to demonstrate how sometimes people they utilize staffing to make sure that they do have all of their staffing roles accounted for events and that their team knows what roles will be working on this event. So sometimes people do not show their staffing roles to the customer. They will keep it as internal. They'll keep it as an internal item here. So what you'll do, if I go over here to my project prints right here, now you have the ability, even if they are internal, they will display in staffing and they are going to display down here. It's not going to show much here, but the main thing is we want them to display here in the staffing, even if they're internal. So your team does have that knowledge of what roles are going to be accounted for this event. Okay. Last other one that we were looking at was admin fees. So that's also here on the prints. We had some feedback about admin fees and how they would persist. It was not something that people usually wanted. They may not have wanted that. In particular, I see it whenever you maybe go down to recipe sheet and you see I've got this admin fees. Our team really doesn't need to know. What we've actually implemented is this ability. If I go down to order details and I go to sections and I go to section category, you can turn off your admin fee. So that is loaded in there. You have the ability to toggle that off so that they do not display. So if you need to, you can update your saved prints in order so that your admin fees do not show. So we just added that toggle there for the section category so that they don't show them. Last one that I will talk about is going to be for the logo. So it's an easy peasy one. But what we have updated here is this ability where your logo box now is attached to your media library. So if you want to replace your logo or utilize photos from your media library, it is now attached to your form so that you can quickly just grab the stuff that you already have loaded in there in order to fill in that box. Woo, okay, Brooklyn. I went a little over. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm going to pass it back to Brooklyn. She's going to take us into another exciting area.
Thanks, Shannon. Yes, we're moving quickly today, guys. So thanks for hanging on. So let me share again. And then speaking of moving quickly, I left out two important things on e-commerce. So I'm sorry. So I'm going to backtrack just a little bit because I want to make sure that I show this off and before I move on to some exciting updates around messages. So I'll go quickly here. But the two things that I wanted to touch on, I know I kind of mentioned it in talking through that we now introduced payments on the project portal with e-commerce, but I wanted to kind of show off what that looks like. So with the store settings, we've also introduced ordering times and ordering lead times, which ties in again to introducing the payment. So this is part of your store settings now where you can configure whatever this might look like for your business. This is set times that you're available to fulfill the orders. So you can toggle when you're open, when you're closed, if certain days maybe you don't start until the afternoon, whatever that might look like for ordering times. And then we also give you the option now to input a lead time. So this is going to give you that stretch of time that you need to be available to prepare an order so someone's not placing a lunch order with, giving you no time at all to prepare it. So you can enable this. It's optional, and then you can choose how far out you want this to go. So tying into these settings, when you go to have your order summary and this is checked out, and then you can again select the time based off of when that lead time is. You can place the order and pay if you have those digital payments toggled on. This is now going to load an updated, this is part of the update with the payment. So you'll now see an order screen that allows them to complete the payments. This is all configured through how you have payments set up on your Curate account. So it's really easy. If you already have that set up with Curate payments, when you toggle that digital payments on, it just already connects it. They can pay here by card or ACH. And then we have some options here for them to go ahead. They could do gratuity as an option. And then once they go to pay this order, it'll allow them to put in their information with credit card and then pay. And then this comes through as a paid project on your end. So I'm sorry I skipped that. I know I kind of highlighted it through talking and then I kind of just got going with what we were covering. And I did want to point this out visually because it was a huge part of our e-commerce updates, so I didn't want to miss out on it. So, just a note there, and then yes, I'm going to take us into the next section of what we wanted to cover, which is around messaging. So we've made some updates to how messagings work. One of those is going to be tied to your project messages. You can see here I have the messages slide out already open. And one of those updates that we've done here with messaging on your projects is that we now support attachment. So you can see here, I had messaged Shannon and I were doing a little test here. So I messaged Shannon about, excited to work together. Could you provide some inspiration photos? And then she was able to email me back with these attachments, which I can then click on and see that attachment. So just something really helpful to keep your teams organized with any kind of file attachment. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a picture. But we see a lot of our curators use inspiration photos through their communication. So that is something that we now support is attachments in the incoming Curate messages. You'll also see with your messages that these are now defaulted on. So there is not going to be an option like a settings tab that we had prior. That was based off feedback. A lot of folks were just like, we want this on. Can you please just keep this on? And so we heard you. And so we now have it defaulted on just to make it super quick and easy. So when you jump into your messages, this is already available for you to just start ahead and go and send those messages out. We also have the option to send messages with the portal link dropdown. So an update that we have here is with sharing. So we now have where you can have different options. So when you want to go share, you can send send the portal without pricing. You can copy the portal link without pricing, open the portal, or open the portal without pricing. There's lots of options because so many people have different ways they like to share this. And so these are just going to be quick links that go along with this share button. We also have the option, oops, once you publish something. So let me just delete this and then it'll give me an edit to publish. So once I publish this, I can continue here and then I can actually send a message via the portal. So I can then go here and then it'll allow me to directly send this published updated portal link through the messages. And so that's a great update, again, just to keep all your messages in the same place. You're providing the link directly to your client so that they have easy access to it. And then you can still go in, use your templates and how you might previously communicate with them. So definitely build out some templates to help you speed up that process of communicating with your customers. So we have some of those updates there. And then we've also made an update to our inquiry forms. So now when you receive that notification that you have a new inquiry, we've also added a button down at the bottom so that when you receive this notification in your inbox, you can click View Inquiry, and then this will launch you directly into that inquiry within your Curate account. So it takes you right here, and then you can choose how you want to manage this inquiry going forward. Again, converting to a new project, merge to an existing project, and so forth. So we've made some updates there around that as well with notification emails. So let me just double check that I didn't leave anything out this time on what I wanted to cover. And then I'm going to pass it back to Shannon because I know we are getting close to time here. So I think that does it on my end of what I wanted to cover with you all today. So let me pass to Shannon and then she'll wrap us up.
Something that I really love about those messages, you really can start, as long as you start those portal messages and curate, you can do all of the back and forth in your own inbox, and it will track those messages with Curate and within Curate. So it really centralizes that communication. So with that update that's been happening with that CRM over the past month or two, that CRM functionality, and even more, I'm not gonna like leak any super secret stuff that we've got going on right now. That we've got some announcements that are happening next week at our webinar. So do not miss it. It is going to be really good, but without leaking anything super secret there. Um, all of the updates that we have coming in that CRM functionality, I am seeing a big shift in how people are managing their events, honestly. We have had the same flow for a while, many years now. And now with these updates, I'm seeing a lot of changes and streamlining, even more streamlining that's happening with the system. So it's super exciting. I'm excited for that launch. That's gonna for the webinar next week. It's gonna be amazing. Okay, so the last thing that we're gonna kind of look at, I'm just gonna take a few minutes, is our AI assist. There's several things in here. I actually do not think that I'll get through everything today, but I'll kind of get you at least started with your knowledge of kind of what is going on with AI assist. All right. So if you did not know, this little guy up here, if I click on that little guy right there, that is where you can access your AI assist, and you'll kind of see it throughout the system. If I like go over here to my Union Station wedding, I actually already have it open. But you're going to have that little guy. I'm going to use it inside of this thing. That's your AI assist. Everybody has access to AI assist. It is a add-on for the system because every time that we do a chat, it does cost money. It's connected to ChatGPT. So it is an add-on. It is based on credits, but everybody has a certain amount of credits that they can use every single month. So if you want to try it out, want to utilize it, go ahead and use it. You do have a certain amount of credits that you used. If you find it's really valuable, which we have a lot of people that are finding it's really valuable, you do have the ability to add it on as part of your subscription. Some people, even with their plans, they do have it included, such as like the partnerships plan. So if you're on a partnership plan, you do have a large amount of credits available for your use in the system. One update that we recently did was now you have the ability to go in here to explore templates and see skills. Let me try to find a skill in here. Yeah, these are probably mine that I added, but you have these ability to go in here and add a skill to your library right here. So I've started writing some stuff around product pricing. You have those to be able to choose those. So you're going to see more and more of those pop up in the Explore templates so that you can just add those directly into your account. Now, a skill is like a prompt for the system. So it knows what you want it to do. It kind of provides some parameters, some guidelines for the system to kind of utilize those things. Now, if I hop into my Union Station wedding right here, we have made a lot of updates with AI Assist. So if I click that, you're going to see that it pops up over here on the side, but I actually have the ability where I can go full screen if I'm working on some things. You can even see your history of items. And then if you want to, you can pin a chat or unpin a chat so that you can have something handy at the top there for if you need to go back to a certain chat or something like that in here. So if you want to, you can kind of go back and forth right there in the chat. So you have that capability. Let me see. Talks about pinned. Yeah. So whenever you go full screen, it makes it really easy. Some things that you have the ability to do. So I recently did one. I'm going to open my chat history. I'm going to look at this one. Let's see. I did this one. Give me a breakdown of the florals that would be needed for this arrangement. So I'm actually going to do this again. I'm going to start a new one. Let me click exit. I'm going to start a new one. So if I put this in here, if I say, oh, I've got this image that they gave me, I want to see a breakdown of the florals that's going to be needed there. I'm actually going to attach a photo right here, and it's going to load that photo into the system. So that makes it easy. So you're not having to manually describe things in there to it. So it's going to load that photo and I'm going to click generate. Now it is going to take it maybe like a minute. I think this is a pretty simple one, so it's not going to take that long, but you just want to give it time to kind of process what it's doing. You can click stop if you know that you're moving in another direction or something like that. But it did look at that photo and then it did a breakdown for me of what actually items are actually going to go into that uh that actual image here. I can if I let me see if I can find that image to show you. Oh, I don't have it handy. I already closed it. But for this image, it is a ground arrangement. It's very colorful and fun ground arrangement, but it has the ability to pull out what are the things that you actually need to produce this item. It makes it really easy. You can upload photos of those items. So if you're training people to come onto your team that they need a little assistance, this could be one way to get started utilizing the system. The other thing that you can do, so if I go to Google and, well, that was silly, huh? If I do a low floral ground arrangement, the other thing that you can do now is this ability, and let me see if I can do it. This is the one that I was looking at before. Maybe if I do this one, you have the ability now to even screenshot photos. I'm going to go back over here to Curate and I'm going to drop it right into that box. And then I'm going to say the same. Give me a breakdown of the florals that would be needed for this arrangement. Now, you could even try it further. I could even think of an example of like, um, if they give you a table, like a grazing table with everything's on that, you could take a picture of that grazing table or upload that inspiration image that they gave you with that grazing table and ask for the items that would go into that just to give you like a starting place of what we're going to use to kind of build that out. So it's really powerful, this ability to go in and upload photos. You can even ask it for like design elements, descriptions. I don't feel like I'm a Shakespeare. You can use this to kind of flesh out, add a little bit more to kind of build out your events a little bit more. Okay. Um, Another piece that you can do here is now that this is in here, you do have the ability to copy it. So if you're asking for some sort of description or something like, here's some inspiration photos for this event, write me a beautiful 3 sentence intro to this proposal. So maybe I just want to put something at the top that kind of guides them into the proposal to kind of set the scene, set the theme, or whatever. You can just copy that, paste that right into the box of what you need there. Makes it really easy. The other, something else that you can do here is how can I enter recipes in Curate? Maybe you need some assistance with entering recipes in Curate. Let's see what it tells us. So now it says searching intercom articles. So now it's going to go and reference the article that we wrote as a team, and it's telling you exactly how you can do that item. And then you could say, can I chat with someone about this? So you also have the ability to segue into chat directly from this AI assist box. It'll just pop open a chat. And then whenever you do go to contact support, you can see all of the stuff that you were chatting about with that bot, with the AI assist, that will be loaded here as well. So it kind of sets that scene for you so you don't have to re-explain yourself to the chat person who's going to be helping you as you're going in there. So makes it super seamless for jumping over there. Now there is a lot more. I was hopeful that I could get a little further, but we are at time. There is some other ones for updating our products list. We'll look at it a little bit deeper next time, but you have the ability to export your product list and then re-import it into the system for it to do those updates directly within the system. So it makes it really easy for updating your catalog, updating your products list, updating your rentals, all of those things. You should have that ability now to do that with AI Assist. Okay. I'll let Brooklyn kind of take it from here and kind of close this out. I wish wish we would have had more time today, but it's just we've just been releasing so much stuff. it is difficult. It's hard for us to show it off on one call. So that means we'll have a little bit more next time that we can work on.
Yes, yeah, thanks, Shannon. Yeah, we're excited to be able to provide so many updates this month, but we'll have even more probably next month. And so please don't forget to register for next month's webinar. We also have the webinar coming up on this upcoming week for the millionth proposal, as Shannon mentioned. We have some exciting updates. You don't want to miss out from Ryan on that call. And then, as always, we will send an email follow up with the recording of this session today so that you can watch it back, or if you weren't able to join us live, you can watch it on your own time. And then we'll include some important links as well that go along in that email around our bonus program, affiliate program, the Curate community, sharing your product ideas with us through our product board. And so we'll be giving that information to you here shortly in an email. And thanks again for joining. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. See you next time.